Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem amma ba'd. I welcome all of you once again to this new module. And in today's module, we are going to learn the practical recitation of Suratul Asr, Suratul Humazah, and Suratul Fil. These three surahs from the glorious Quran. So let us start off. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. So this is Surah Al-Asr, which we have just recited, and here are some of the points which you must take care of. Number one is, when you say Wal Asr, make sure to sound the Swad correctly. The Swad which is there, it's a heavy letter. And then followed by Swad, you have a Ra. And this Ra is heavy in this case. In this verse, the Ra is heavy over here. And when you stop on Wal Asr, don't make it sound like Wal Asr, Asr. That extra extension of sound should be avoided. So say it this way, Wal Asr, Asr. So you have to restrain it because of the sukoon which is there upon the Ra. Now we move on to the next verse. Innal insana lafi khusr. Don't say innal insana. Not sana. It is insana, sana. And then at the end you have the word khusr. Even in khusr, don't make it sound like khusr. Make it sound like khusr. Khusr. So you have to restrain it because of the sukoon which comes upon the Ra. Then moving ahead we have إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. So in this verse, you need to focus on the word amanu. Don't say it as amanu, say it as amanu, amanu, because the hamza is light. And then after that you have the swad. وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. In عَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, in the word صالحات, also make the ha clear. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. So the Sad which is there in the word وَتَوَاصَوْا, it is very often missed by people when they read this surah. So be mindful of the Sad, pronounce it as a heavy letter, and you need to retain its quality of heaviness, of tafkhim in it. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. Now in the word bil haqqi, don't say it as haqqi, haqqi, not that way. It is haqqi. Since ha is a light letter, so you have to be mindful and not confuse it by pronouncing it as a heavy letter. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. And with this we are done with Surah Al-Asr. Now we'll move on to the next surah. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ويل لكل همزة لمزة. Alright, so this is Surah Al-Humazah. And in this verse, you need to be mindful of the word way. Say it as way, not way, not waylulli. That's wrong. The correct way of saying it is way, with the lowering down of your lower lip. وَيْلٌ لِكُلِّ هُمَزَةٍ لُمَزَةٍ. In the word humazah and lumazah, in both these words you have the letter za, and this letter za, it has that additional buzzing sound. Just like if you were to listen to a honeybee, the way it buzzes, that buzzing sound which comes because of the movement of honeybee, the same sound, a similar sound will become evident when you pronounce za. Humazatil lumazah, lumazah. In the word lumazah, you will see that there is a ta over there, a ta mudawwara, a circular ta. But when you stop, you will replace that ta mudawwara with ha, and that ha needs to be evident. الذي جمع مالا وعدده. الذي جمع مالا وعدده. مالا وعدده. Don't forget, don't miss the ghunna which is occurring in مالا وعدده. After that you have يحسب أن ماله أخلده. يحسب أن ماله أخلده. Now in this verse, pay special attention to the kha. أخلده. Since kha is a heavy letter, and this is very often missed by people when they pronounce a kha with a sukoon, they just say it as أخلده. أخلده. It is أخلده. There will be an elevation in the back part of your tongue. كلا لينبذن في الحطمة. Now in this verse we need to focus on the word لينبذن. So first of all, there will be iqlab occurring in the noon sakin which is getting followed by ba. لَيُنْبَذَنَّ. So this iqlab is such that it will also be accompanied with the ghunna. And also note that you won't be leaving a space between the lips. لَيُنْبَذَنَّ. That's not how we read it. That's not the right opinion. The more correct opinion is that you close your lips completely. You touch your both lips together. لَيُنْبَذَنَّ فِي الْحُطَمَةِ. In the word حُطَمَةِ, make sure to pronounce the ta correctly. And make it distinct from the ta sound. It should not sound like a ta. Hutama. That's wrong. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الْحُطَمَةِ. In the word أَدْرَاكَ, you will see that there is a dal with a sukoon upon it. So in this word, we will be pronouncing the qalqala. That is the doubling sound effect. Ad. We won't just say it as adraka. We won't say it that way. Rather, we'll say it as adraka mal hutama. Narullahi al-muqadah. Don't say it as narullahi. It is Narullahi al-muqadah. And pay special attention to the qaf which is there in the word muqadah. Allati tattali'u ala al-af'idah. Now stay focused. In this verse, the word tattali'u. Tattali'u. First of all, we have a ta, which is a light letter. Then you have the ta with a shadda upon it. Then you have a ta with a shadda upon it. Tattali'u. So make the ta sound like a light letter and ta as a heavy letter. Then you have at the end you have ayn. Tattali'u. Tattali'u ala al-af'idah. And immediately after the ayn in tattali'u, you again have an ayn. So two ayns are coming one after the other. So we must be extra careful when saying this. Tattali'u ala al-af'idah. Af'idah. In the word af'idah, you have a hamza at the beginning, then you have fa, then you have hamza once again. And the second hamza which is there, it is very often missed. So people, they say it as Afida, afida. So it should be afida. إنها عليهم مؤصدة. إنها عليهم مؤصدة. Now here the word mu'sada, it has a hamza with a sukoon upon it, and this hamza must be made clear. It should be pronounced clearly. Mu'sada. Don't say it as mu'sada, or else it will sound like a wow. And that's not what we are pronouncing over here. We are pronouncing a hamza with a sukoon in this word mu'sada. في عمد ممددة. Now we are done with Surah Al-Humazah, and here is the last surah for this module, Surah Al-Fil. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم تر كيف فعل ربك بأصحاب الفيل. ألم, not alam, alam, not alam. That's not the correct way of saying it. It is alam, alam, this way. ترى, ترى, not ترى. ترى. Ta is light and ra is heavy. كيف فعل ربك بأصحاب الفيل. ألم يجعل كيدهم في تضليل. Now in this verse, focus on the qalqala which will be pronounced in the word yaj'al. It will be yaj'al, not yaj'al. Yaj'al, doubling sound effect will come into picture. كيدهم, كيدهم في تضليل. تضليل. Now this dad which is there, it is having a sukoon upon it. And the sifa, the characteristic of elongation, will come into picture because this dad over here, it is having a sukoon. So we will elongate it a little bit more than the time which we take for pronouncing the other letters. Just as I had mentioned earlier, if the other letters are taking one count, so this dad with a sukoon or a shadda, it will take 1.25 counts this way. وأرسل عليهم طيرا أبابيل. طيرا أبابيل. So the ta, the heavy letter. So the ta, the heavy letter, we must focus on pronouncing it as a heavy letter. طيرا أبابيل. Ra will also be heavy. طيرا أبابيل. ترميهم بحجارة من سجيل. تر. The ra will be heavy in ترميهم. And then after we move ahead, we have ikhfa shafawi occurring between ترميهم bihi. So the stretching at ترميهم, that's because of the ikhfa shafawi. So be sure to pronounce that ikhfa shafawi along with the gunna up to 2 counts. ترميهم, ترميهم بحجارة من سجيل فجعلهم كعصف مأكول. فجعلهم, don't say it as فجعلهم. فجعلهم. All the letters are light. Fa, ja, ain, lam, and then at the end we have hum. فجعلهم كعصف مأكول. In the word كعصف, don't pronounce the ain which is there as a heavy letter. Don't say it as كعصف. It is كعصف مأكول. In the word ma'kul, make the hamza which is having a sukoon over here clear. Ma'kul. And with this we are done with this module. Alhamdulillah, we have completed several surahs. So I would just request you to go through these modules carefully, listen carefully to the way the verses are being recited, and also pay special attention to the advices which have been given throughout the recitation of these surahs, so that you will be able to implement what you have learned correctly, inshallah. And after you are done listening, do record these surahs and send it to me via the email address which has been given to you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.